Alex Carter knelt before the massive oak cabinet, his fingers nervously sifting through stacks of papers. The room smelled of coffee and wood polish, a scent that usually calmed him after long hours at the law firm. But today, even the familiar comfort of home offered no relief. He was searching for the dentist's receipt, the final bill for Jacob's treatment that should have been covered by their Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. Somewhere between tax folders and warranty slips lay that damned document. "Dad!" Jacob's voice carried down the hallway. "When are we eating?" "10 minutes, champ," Alex answered automatically, not turning around. His elbow bumped a crystal vase, his mother-in-law's anniversary gift. It wobbled, but didn't fall. Instead, an empty Tiffany box slid from the shelf, still faintly scented with black orchid perfume. As he reached to pick it up, his fingers brushed against something behind it. A leather journal. He froze. The diary was bound in high-quality Italian leather, its spine embossed with barely visible gold lettering. "For my eyes only." Alex gripped it, fingertips tracing the slightly worn surface. How many times had Laura held this? The first page resisted slightly, as if reluctant to reveal its secrets. March 15th. Late for yoga at Equinox, again. Dr. Shaw says my notification obsession is controlling unpredictability. $200 an hour for these revelations. Maybe I should have been a therapist. The handwriting was even, precise, with a slight rightward slant, just like the notes Laura left on their shared kitchen calendar. Alex turned the page. March 22nd. Alex forgot our no-phone night again. Ordered sushi from that cheap place instead of Morimoto, like I asked. Sometimes I think he does it deliberately to see how much I'll tolerate. He blinked, rereading the lines. They'd argued about that dinner. Laura had eaten in silence before slamming the bedroom door. He assumed she was just tired. Most entries were like this: mundane frustrations, petty grievances, occasional mentions of Jacob, nothing consequential. He was about to close the journal when the date caught his eye. April 12th, the day he'd returned early from Denver to surprise her. This page was different. The ink smudged in places, words scratched out and rewritten. Albany team meeting ended early. Mark suggested drinks at the hotel bar. Alex got stuck at O'Hare. American Airlines delay. Perfect timing. A chill crept down his spine. He remembered my favorite espresso martini. I'd only mentioned it once when we ran into each other at Starbucks. Alex still calls it fancy coffee crap. His fingers crumpled the page. The next paragraph was nearly illegible, as if written in haste. We were alone in the elevator. His fingers slipped under my blazer. I didn't stop him. Why? Because his hands shook. Because Alex hasn't trembled touching me in 3 years. Alex snapped the journal shut. "Dad!" Jacob stood in the doorway, bare feet leaving prints on freshly cleaned floors. "I'm starving." "Coming," Alex rasped. He shoved the diary behind the Tiffany box and stood. As they walked to the kitchen, his hand drifted to the journal now hidden in his pocket. He hadn't meant to take it. It just happened. The kitchen smelled of delivered pizza. Laura's note read, "Jim, back by 10. Alex opened the pizza box for Jacob. "You're acting weird," he mumbled through a mouthful of pepperoni. "Just tired." Alex forced a smile. His hand returned to the diary's outline. Just a few pages. Just a few words. Enough to dismantle his world. The diary burned his fingers. Alex sat on the edge of their bed, the same bed Laura had been avoiding for 3 months, claiming insomnia. He reread the April 12th entry for the 5th time, the words etching themselves deeper into his mind with each pass, like ink bleeding through blotting paper. He left marks on my back. Had to tell Alex I caught myself on the closet door, as if he'd even notice unless I pointed it out. Downstairs, the microwave beeped, Jacob reheating another slice of pizza. Alex listened automatically. Was the plate too heavy? Would he burn himself? Fatherly instincts ran deeper than a wife's betrayal. He turned the page, new entries dated to last week, when he'd been in Cleveland for his uncle's funeral. Mark brought cake from Magnolia Bakery, chocolate, raspberry, the kind I loved before pregnancy. Alex still buys vanilla after all these years. Alex stood, his body protesting with sharp pains. He hadn't moved since locking himself in the bedroom an hour ago. The mirror above the dresser showed red-veined eyes and deep grooves around his mouth. 38, going on 50. Laura's iPhone lay on her nightstand. He picked it up, the glass cool against his skin. The password, Jacob 2016, failed. Damn it! He hurled the phone onto the duvet. A notification lit up the screen. Mark Jenkins. 9 a.m. tomorrow? Same room. P.S. You smell better than his gifts. Blood pounded in his temples. Alex snatched the phone. The alert vanished, but the preview remained. His hands shook as he tapped the message. Password prompt. Dad? Jacob stood in the doorway, clutching a Star Wars pillow. I got scared alone. Alex shoved the phone under the blanket. Come here, champ. The boy climbed onto the bed, pressing against his side. He smelled of children's shampoo and melted cheese. You and Mom fighting? No, just tired. Then why are your hands shaking? Alex looked at his palms. They were trembling, like that homeless guy at the L station always begging for change. Cold, maybe. Go to sleep. When Jacob's breathing steadied, Alex slipped out from under the covers. In the kitchen, he poured whiskey into a coffee mug so he wouldn't be tempted to drain the bottle. The laptop whirred to life. Google Maps. Location history. Login, laura.carter@gmail.com. Password, their dead dog's name. April 12th. 6:30 p.m., the Gwen Hotel. 10:15 p.m., home. April 15th, funeral day. 2 p.m., Magnolia Bakery. 3:30 p.m., Wabash Avenue condo. New tab. Instagram. Laura. April 15th. Photo, sweet treats with my girls. The image showed Laura holding a forkful of cake, Sarah, her high school friend, with wine glass blurred in background, and Mark, his hand draped over Laura's chair back, thumb brushing her shoulder. Geotag, Magnolia Bakery. Alex slammed the laptop shut. His throat tightened, not from whiskey, but the realization he was investigating his wife like a suspect. In bed, Jacob stirred. Alex lay beside him, afraid to hug his son in case he woke him. Laura's phone blinked on the nightstand. New notification. Mark Jenkins. You were right about his obliviousness. Didn't even ask where I got your favorite cake. Alex closed his eyes. Outside, Chicago wind howled, rattling a beer can down the street. It sounded just like the gale on Cindy's rooftop when he'd proposed, back when he'd mistaken the wind's wail for song. Now he heard it for what it was. Rain drummed against the skylight of their bedroom as Alex pulled the photograph from the diary. The bluish glow of streetlights filtered through the curtains, casting the image in icy tones. He sat on the edge of the bed they hadn't shared in 3 months. She'd complained about his restless sleeping. The photo was taken at their spot, at Cindy's rooftop, where 5 years ago he'd knelt on one knee with a Tiffany ring. Now the image showed Laura at that same railing side table, but her hand rested on Mark's forearm, not his. She wore that blue Reformation dress, his last birthday gift to her. He remembered zipping it up that evening, kissing the exposed skin between her shoulder blades. On the reverse, in her looping script, 4:12, you saw through me, like you promised. 2 drops fell on the glossy surface. At first, he thought it was rain leaking through the window, then realized they were tears, his first in a decade. Footsteps sounded in the hallway, Laura returning from yoga. He shoved the photo in his jeans pocket, but the diary remained on the duvet. You're still up? Her voice pitched unnaturally high. She paused in the doorway, raindrops glistening in her ponytail. The sports bra revealed her still flat stomach post-Jacob. Alex suddenly remembered kissing every inch of that skin when she was pregnant. No, I scrubbed my face. Nightmares, just got him down. Laura's gaze flicked to the diary, but she said nothing. Turning away to undress, 3 faint scratches glared red above her waistband, exactly as described in the entry. He left marks, had to blame the closet door. "Early meeting tomorrow," she said, pulling on a tea. "Mark wants to review the Albany contract." Alex's temples throbbed. He stood, walked to the window, where rain transformed their yard into a black mirror. "I know," he said quietly. "What?" Her hairbrush froze mid-stroke. "I know about you and Mark, about your Albany contract, about Wednesday yoga." Her face paled, then splotched red. Lips trembled, but her eyes stayed arctic. "You read my diary?" That was all she managed. Alex laughed, a soundless, bitter thing. "Yeah, and found this." He tossed the photo on the bed. "At our place, in my gift, with your inscription." "Was that necessary?" Laura picked it up silently. Her fingers wrinkled the gloss. "You stopped seeing me, Alex. Mark notices." "Notices what?" His voice cracked toward a shout before he remembered Jacob. "Notices what exactly, Laura? How you arch under him in hotel rooms? That?" No answer, just the bathroom door locking, a shower running. He sank onto the bed. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Another message. He didn't look. Instead, he opened her keepsake drawer, lifted the empty Tiffany box. In the kitchen, he poured whiskey into Jacob's dinosaur mug. Downed it. Poured another, watching rain cleanse the windows. When Laura emerged, he still sat there, spinning his wedding band. "I'll take Jacob after school tomorrow," she said. Her footsteps were lighter, unburdened. Alex nodded, past her without touching. In the bedroom, he replaced the diary in the cabinet, gently, like handling a museum artifact. Before bed, he checked on Jacob. The boy clutched the plush tiger Mark had given him. Alex swapped it for the old, frayed dog abandoned under the bed. Downstairs, Laura packed. He walked past, into the study, removed Jacob's passport from the filing cabinet, pocketed it. Rain intensified. A siren wailed somewhere. Alex stood at the window, listening to Laura whisper call Mark like a thief. The anger was gone, just hollow now, like that Tiffany box. Tomorrow, the war would begin. The Chuck E. Cheese in Skokie assaulted his ears with shrieking children and mechanical laughter from animatronics. Alex sat at a sticky table, staring at pizza that smelled of melted plastic and overcooked cheese. Jacob poked at his iPad, leaving greasy fingerprints across the screen. "Dad, look!" The boy shook the tablet in his face. "I recorded Roxy doing backflips." Alex nodded absently. His gaze slid across the screen, a week-old video of their golden retriever. But as Jacob swiped through the gallery, another file flashed by. "Wait!" His hand moved on its own, grabbing the iPad. "What's that?" Jacob pouted. "That's Mom's car. I was filming when we—" Alex zoomed in. The camera must have activated accidentally, capturing footage through the rearview mirror. Date stamp, April 15. His uncle's funeral day in Cleveland. On screen, the backseat of Laura's Lexus RX, the leather interior they'd chosen together. Her hand in that familiar gesture, tucking hair behind her ear when nervous. A man's arm in a white dress shirt with gold cufflinks, the same ones Mark wore to last month's corporate mixer. The audio was muffled but clear. "Stop it, Jacob's recording." Laura's laugh. "Let him." Mark's voice. "He doesn't understand anyway." The camera jostled, probably Jacob fidgeting. For one frame, the mirror reflected. Laura's head tilted back against the headrest. Mark leaning toward her neck, his fingers undoing the top button of her blouse. Copper taste flooded Alex's mouth. He looked at Jacob, The boy was already absorbed in a new game, swigging his legs carelessly. "Buddy, you ride with Mom and Uncle Mark often?" "Uh-huh." Jacob didn't look up. "He buys me strawberry milkshakes. You say they're bad." Alex stood slowly. His knees trembled like he'd run a marathon. "Dad, where are you going?" "Restroom. Keep playing." In the bathroom, he cranked the faucet, plunged his face into icy water, counted breaths. His phone waited in his pocket. He pulled it out, opened Google Photos. Automatic sync, all Jacob's videos duplicated to their family cloud. Cannot delete permanently. File remains in the trash for 60 days. His finger hovered. Outside, an animatronic bear screeched, "Happy birthday, friendo!" Alex copied the video, emailed it to himself, then erased browser history, a lawyer's habit. When he returned, Jacob was finishing the last pizza slice. "Dad, why are your eyes red?" "Allergies, champ. To clowns." The boy giggled, marinara smeared across his cheeks. Alex wiped it away, then lifted the iPad. "Let me save your videos somewhere safe." He disabled iCloud Sync with 3 taps. "Now it's just mine." A balloon clown stopped them at the exit. "Pick one, kiddo." Jacob reached for blue, Laura's favorite color. "Red," Alex said sharply. "Take red." The balloon popped on the pavement outside. Jacob froze, waiting for tears that didn't come. "It's okay," Alex muttered, gathering latex shreds. "We'll get another." He glanced back at Chuck E. Cheese. A busgirl was wiping down their table, sanitizing the iPad screen with practiced swipes, erasing all fingerprints. 3:17 a.m. Alex sat in his study, illuminated only by the blue glow of his laptop. A third glass of whiskey stood untouched on the desk. The alcohol no longer numbed him, just amplified the coppery taste of rage on his tongue. 3 browser tabs lay open. Google Maps timeline, Laura's location history. Instagram, her geotagged posts. Venmo, transactions labeled team lunches. The pattern emerged with terrifying clarity. April 12, 6:30 p.m., the Gwen Hotel, location data. 7:45 p.m., Instagram post, working dinner, #exhausted, #hustle. Photo showed Laura in a new black dress he'd never seen before, Sarah, her friend, blurred in background, the edge of a white dress shirt with gold cufflinks. Venmo, 7:47 p.m., $45 payment to Sarah, marked dinner. Alex zoomed the photo. The restaurant table's reflection revealed Mark, his face blurred, but the blue dial Rolex unmistakable. Business dinner. Right. April 15th, his uncle's funeral day. 2 p.m., Magnolia Bakery, iPhone GPS. 2:30 p.m., Wabash Avenue condo. Not her office, not their home. 4 p.m., Instagram story. Sweet break with my person, heart. Photo of raspberry cake. The butter knife reflected a man's silhouette by the window. He opened her health app. Password still Jacob's birthday. Activity data. April 15th, 2 to 3:30 p.m., 0 steps. Standing, 87 minutes. Standing. Hilarious. Screenshots went into an encrypted folder. Then her email. She'd used one password everywhere. Their wedding date plus Jacob. Search. Mark. April 10. Email. Subject. Albany meeting. From Laura Carter to Mark Jenkins. My flight's delayed. Bar at 6:30. P.S. Alex doesn't know I'm back tomorrow. Alex leaned back. The lump in his throat wasn't from whiskey, but the icy realization he'd become that guy, snooping through his wife's phone. A notification popped up. Facebook memories.
5 years ago, we said yes. Their wedding photo. Laura laughing in the same dress, now hanging in their closet. He shut the laptop. In bed, Jacob clutched the plush tiger Mark had given him. He swapped it for the boy's old stuffed dog. "Dad," Jacob murmured sleepily. "Sleep tight, slugger." On the balcony, the night sky glittered. Somewhere in River North, Mark was probably asleep in his luxury condo. Alex opened Venmo. Payment, $1. Recipient, Mark Jenkins. Note, for my son's milkshake. He tapped pay.
Saturday morning. Alex stood at the stove flipping dinosaur-shaped pancakes, the only breakfast Jacob would eat without protest. Golden light streamed through the kitchen window, turning crumbs on the table into tiny constellations.
Dad?
Jacob swung his legs, leaving sneaker marks on the chair rung. "Why doesn't Mom live with us anymore?" The spatula froze mid-flip. 6 days since Laura left for her mother's, and the question had finally come. "Mom and I," Alex turned to Stegosaurus pancake, buying time. "Sometimes grown-ups stop getting along." Jacob dragged his fork through maple syrup, creating swirling rivers. "Is it because of Uncle Mark?" The butter hissed louder. "Why do you think that?" "Yesterday, when he brought my Legos, Mom was crying in the bedroom. Then she said I can't go to movies with them anymore." Alex turned off the burner, plated 3 syrup-drenched dinosaurs, Stegosaurus, T-Rex, and that long-necked one he could never name. "Buddy," he wiped his hands on the world's best dad apron Laura gave him last Christmas. "Did Mom and Mark ever kiss in front of you?" Jacob frowned, licking syrup off his wrist. "No, just hugs. But once in the car, he tickled her neck and she laughed, like when you tickle me." Alex piled dishes in the sink so Jacob wouldn't see his shaking hands. "Dad, are we poor now?" The boy sucked syrup from his thumb. "Mark says his condo costs $1 million. "No, slugger." He grabbed the best dad towel, another Laura relic. "We have our house, and Roxy, and—" His voice cracked. Suddenly, Jacob was hugging him so tight his ribs ached. "And we have each other." Alex buried his face in the boy's shampoo-sweet hair. "And we have each other." The phone rang. Laura. 8th call this morning. Jacob reached for it. "Mom!" "Later." Alex silenced it. "Our day today. Where to?" "Zoo, and the carousel, and—" Sunlight caught in Jacob's hazel eyes, exact copies of Laura's. The boy's chatter blended with sparrows singing outside. Then he went quiet. "Dad, if Mom loves Mark more, does that mean she stops loving us?" Alex knelt until they were eye level. "Listen close." He pressed a hand against the small heartbeat under the dinosaur t-shirt. "Everyone has a special place for love inside. It's like a Lego box?" "Yes, but instead of bricks, you keep hearts there. Mom's heart will always be in your box, and mine, even if she puts Mark's heart in too?" Alex closed his eyes. "Yes." They went to the zoo, fed giraffes, laughed at penguins. When Jacob rode the carousel, Alex checked his phone. 23 new messages from Laura. Latest, "You turned my own son against me. Lawyer coming Monday." He screenshotted it, sent it to his attorney, then took a photo of Jacob grinning with cotton candy and set it as his wallpaper. At bedtime, Jacob asked suddenly, "Does Mark have a kid?" "No." "So he wants to steal me?" Alex tucked in the blankets, steadying his hands. "No one's taking you. That's the law." "What's law?" "Rules for the game called life. And I play to win." When Jacob's breathing evened out, Alex stepped into the backyard. Their golden retriever, Roxy, nosed his palm. From his pocket, he pulled the plush tiger Mark had given Jacob and hurled it into the darkness. "Fetch!" The dog bounded after it, tail wagging. Alex adjusted his tie in the locker room mirror of DNA lab school. He deliberately worn this navy suit, the same one he'd worn to sign their prenuptial agreement. "Mr. Carter?" Mrs. Applegate, Jacob's teacher, peeked through the door. "We're starting in 5 minutes. Did you prepare your presentation?" "All set." He held up the iPad in his left hand. "Everything's right here." The auditorium resembled a courtroom. Rows of chairs, a projector screen, the murmur of assembled parents discussing the latest scandal, some high schoolers caught with alcohol. Alex connected the iPad to the projector. The device unlocked automatically. He'd disabled the passcode yesterday. "May I have your attention?" Mrs. Applegate tapped the microphone. "Today, we'll discuss the new social development program. Mr. Carter has prepared—" His phone vibrated. A text from his attorney. "Judge granted sole custody request. Congratulations." Alex took a deep breath and tapped Start Presentation. The projector screen lit up. Instead of educational slides, the gallery app opened. First video, back seat of a Lexus. "Stop it! Jacob's recording!" Laura's playful laugh. "Let him!" Mark turned toward the camera, his hand sliding up Laura's neck. The room went dead silent. Alex pretended to fumble with the controls, pressing random buttons. The video continued. "Oh my God!" A mother in the front row covered her mouth. New image, Instagram post of Laura and Mark at a cafe. Caption, "Sweet moments." Date stamped his mother's funeral day. "Technical difficulties," Alex announced loudly, still struggling to close the files. "Mr. Carter," the principal stood pale-faced. "Perhaps we should—" Before Mrs. Applegate could pull the cable, the final file appeared. A screenshot of Laura's messages. "He'll never know about the abortion. Thank you for being there that day." A scream pierced the room. Alex turned. Laura stood frozen in the doorway, her face twisted in horror. She lunged for the iPad, but the principal intercepted her. Alex spread his hands in confusion. Jacob suddenly stood up from the children's section. "Mom, is it true? You didn't want my baby brother?" Chaos erupted, parents covering children's ears, teachers scrambling to unplug the projector. Alex accidentally dropped the iPad. The screen shattered. "Meeting adjourned," he murmured, collecting the fragments. The flash drive in his pocket held copies. Tomorrow, they'd appear in the parent group chat. But today, he simply took Jacob's hand and walked out past Laura's muffled sobs. Rain fell outside. "Dad?" Jacob squeezed his fingers. "Can I still have a brother someday?" Alex shielded the boy's head from the rain. "Someday. Ice cream first." They walked away as fragments of outrage echoed from the school. "How could she? With the child right there. My husband works with that Mark." His phone buzzed. Another attorney text. "She just lost joint custody. Congratulations." He deleted it and bought Jacob a double chocolate cone. Morning began with his phone vibrating. Still eyes closed, Alex fumbled for his iPhone. 47 new messages in the DNA Lab School parent chat. First message, the accidentally shown video from yesterday. Enhanced resolution, cleaned audio. Second message, Susan Mitchell, Emily's mom. "Sent this to my husband. He's a partner at that bastard Mark's firm. HR called him in this morning." Alex reached for his water glass. His hand trembled, not from nerves, but adrenaline overdose. He opened LinkedIn. Mark's profile now read, "Open to new opportunities." Shower, shave. Making breakfast. 3 poached eggs and avocado toast for Jacob. Staying home today. "Why no school?" Jacob poked his egg yolk. "Too much grown-up nonsense right now." "About Mom?" "Yeah." "Why don't you tell them you did it on purpose?" The spoon clinked against china. Alex looked up slowly. Jacob's hazel eyes held no judgment, just factual observation. "You knew? You always plan everything." Jacob left lit prints on his orange juice glass. "Like when we play chess." Alex's phone rang before he could respond. Unknown number. "Hello? Mr. Carter?" A woman's voice. "This is Sarah, Laura's friend. I need to tell you about her and Mark." Thanks, Sarah. Alex switched to speakerphone. Jacob's right here. Maybe tell him yourself. Silence. Then dial tone. She hung up? Jacob licked jam off his thumb. Yeah. Then it must have been really bad. Alex pulled out Monopoly. Today, we study strategy. By noon, 23 more calls. Parents, Laura's former colleagues, even their marriage counselor offering emergency sessions for Jacob. At 2:17 p.m., a text from Mark himself. You won. She's boring now. Alex screenshotted it, attached it to the custody filing. 3:30 p.m., the school called. Mr. Carter? Mrs. Applegate's voice shook. Laura just withdrew Jacob's records, said he's transferring. Ice flooded his veins. She can't. She had some court order. Alex lunged for his laptop. Checked the docket. Laura's emergency petition. Grounds? Psychological abuse of minor. The doorbell detonated like a gunshot. Through the peephole, Laura, pale, red-eyed. A police officer behind her. Alex! Her voice was shredded. I'm here for my son. He stepped back, dialing his attorney. Dad! Jacob stood on the stairs, clutching the Monopoly dog token. Is that Mom? Alex nodded. Hide. The boy vanished into their secret closet hideout, built for spy games. The door thundered. Mr. Carter? The cop barked. Open up. Alex turned the knob slowly. Laura exploded into the foyer, scanning the room. Where is he? Gone. Liar! Her scream fractured. She tore upstairs, flinging doors open. The cop remained. Warrant? Alex asked. Emergency order. The officer flashed paperwork. Child remains with mother pending hearing. A crash upstairs. Laura descended, gripping Jacob's wrist. Mom says you're bad, that you lie. Alex knelt. Remember our game? What I taught you about rules? Jacob wiped snot on his sleeve, nodding. Sometimes adults cheat, but the game's not over. Laura yanked the door open. Now! On the threshold, Jacob turned. Left you a clue, he whispered. When the police car disappeared, Alex climbed to Jacob's room. The Monopoly dog lay on the bed. He flipped it over. Taped underneath, a micro SD card. Rain lashed against the attorney's office windows, transforming Chicago's skyline into blurred watercolor smears. Alex gripped the thumb drive Jacob had hidden inside the Monopoly dog. Across the glass table, worth his entire monthly salary, Emily Sanders flipped through documents. I know what you want, but emergency custody modifications aren't Monopoly. You can't just draw a chance card and skip Laura's turn. Alex stared at the screenshot, Mark's message. She's boring now. I have video, audio, texts, and a child currently in her apartment with a social worker. Emily removed her glasses. Judge Wilson hates parents using kids as pawns. Thunder cracked directly overhead. Lights flickered, then emergency bulbs bathed everything in blood red. So what? Alex clicked the thumb drive against glass. We attack Resole Advantage. Emily opened a file. Article 823, Moral Fitness of Guardian. The screen displayed Laura in a bikini from her private Instagram. Mark's silhouette loomed by a pool bar. Date stamped when Jacob had 103 degrees fever. Where'd you get this? Alex's fingers went numb. Your son isn't the only one who finds hidden files. Emily's smile showed no teeth. Her cloud holds juicier content. She clicked play. A hotel room. Laura in a towel giggles at the camera. Day 47 without Alex. Mark says I look 25. What do you think, baby? The camera pans. Jacob sits on the bed playing with his tablet. Mom, I'm busy. Alex vomited into the wastebasket. This was during my Boston trip. Emily closed the video. Now you see why CPS is there. The judge has seen this. Alex wiped bile from his lips.
The realization tasted bitter. While scheming, his son had been trapped in this circus. What now? We wait. Emily tapped her phone. Laura takes Jacob to Dr. Shaw at 5 p.m. If he says one word... His phone buzzed. Unknown caller. Hello? Mr. Carter? A woman's voice. This is Dr. Shaw. We met during your useless therapy sessions. What do you want? Jacob just shared something interesting about your secret game, thumb drives. Alex stood so fast his chair toppled. If you think... Children don't belong in parental warfare, Shaw interrupted. Come now, no lawyers or I report to DCFS. The line died. Emily raised her eyebrow. Problem? I need her apartment now. The storm had worsened. Wind tore umbrellas from pedestrians as Alex sprinted to a taxi. The driver eyed him. Buddy, you're bleeding on my seats. Only then did Alex notice his skinned knuckles from gripping the thumb drive. Laura's new riverfront condo, where they dreamed of living together, had a concierge who frowned. Mrs. Carter said, DCFS emergency. Alex shoved past the elevator. Dr. Shaw opened the door. Behind her, Laura sipped wine while Jacob worked on a puzzle. Dad! Jacob jumped up, but Laura yanked him back. You promised, she hissed. Alex stepped forward. What are you making him promise, Laura? Shaw blocked him. Jacob described your investigations into his mother's... Liar! Jacob wrenched free and clung to Alex. I didn't tell. She snooped. Laura paled. Shaw gasped, but Alex already lifted Jacob. We're leaving. You can't... Look at him. Alex turned Jacob's arm. Blue fingerprint bruises stood out starkly. Congratulations, doctor. Here's your moral fitness. Laura's scream followed them into the elevator. I'll destroy you. You'll never... The doors cut her off. In the taxi, Jacob trembled against him. She smashed my tablet. Said you abandoned us. Alex closed his eyes. A new plan formed. More brutal, more precise. It's okay, champ. He kissed Jacob's hair. Daddy will fix everything. The thumb drive in his bleeding hand held footage from that hotel where Mark had offered an 8-year-old wine to be a grown-up. 3:47 a.m. Alex sat in his darkened home office, illuminated only by the flicker of 3 monitors. The main screen displayed the iCloud login page. He'd spent 7 hours trying to crack Laura's backup. Dad? Alex startled. Jacob stood in the doorway, clutching his tattered teddy bear. Why aren't you sleeping, champ? Dreamed Mom took Mr. Fuzzy. The boy rubbed his eyes. You having bad dreams, too? Alex closed the Hacker Forum tab. Just working. Jacob padded closer, bare feet slapping cold hardwood. That's Mom's pictures? He pointed as a Laura Mark preview flashed on screen. Alex killed the monitor. Back to bed. I'll come tuck you in. You're hacking Mom's phone? Jacob tilted his head like their Labrador Roxy, hearing an interesting noise. Alex's pulse spiked. He knelt before his son. Sometimes protecting people you love means doing hard things. Like Mission Impossible? Yeah, without cool stunts. Jacob considered this, then reached for the keyboard. Her password's our dead fish's name. Remember Nemo? Alex froze. How did... Mom always says, best passwords are unforgettable memories. Alex slowly typed, Nemo 2016. The screen unlocked. You're a genius. He hugged the boy. I know. Jacob yawned. Can I sleep now? Alex carried him to bed, tucked him in. Sleep tight. Tomorrow you can teach me more spy tricks. When the door closed, he dove back to the computer. iCloud bloomed like a treasure chest. Photos, hundreds with Mark, including deleted ones. Notes. Draft messages to Mark. I never loved him like you. Health data. 2 years of location history. The jackpot was in the Albany project folder. Jacob's passport scan, Mexico City flight reservations, international custody relocation forms. He printed them with shaking hands, then opened the most recent video, dated today. Shaky footage, likely hidden camera. Laura at her kitchen table with Mark. Judge denied the petition. Mark poured wine. It doesn't matter, Laura smiled. I have Plan B. She produced Jacob's passport. Sao Paulo. You still have that consulate contact? Mark nodded. After 72 hours there, he'll be a Brazilian citizen. Alex will never find him. Alex copied the video to 5 thumb drives. Locked in his safe. Emailed to himself. Hidden in Jacob's art box. Sealed in an open upon my death envelope under Jacob's mattress. Clutched in his hand as he grabbed car keys. The GPS already showed the route to the 6th District Police Station. Rain drummed the roof like typing fingers.
Captain Danny Morales of the 6th Precinct was chewing on a bagel when Alex burst into his office without knocking. Crumbs scattered across the police badge lying on the desk. Carter? Damn it, it's 4 in the morning! They're trying to take Jacob to Brazil. Alex tossed a flash drive onto the table. It's all here. Tickets, forged documents, a conversation about bribing the consulate. Morales slowly set the bagel down and turned on the monitor. The video of Laura and Mark played on a loop. One phrase stood out clearly. In 72 hours, he'll be a Brazilian citizen. All right, the captain scratched his stubble. But this is a civil matter. We can't... Article 1204. Alex pulled a printout from his folder. Attempted unlawful removal of a child across borders with intent to deprive a legal guardian of rights. A felony, Danny. Morales sighed and reached for the phone. Fine. Give me your evidence. But first, coffee. Hell, I need 3 coffees. In the precinct hallway, Alex spotted a familiar face. Sarah, Laura's friend, giving a statement to another officer. Their eyes met. She quickly looked away, but not before he noticed the tear streaks. She came on her own, Morales whispered, returning with paper cups. Brought a recording of Laura offering her money for false testimony. Seems your ex just lost her last ally. Alex closed his eyes. Images flashed through his mind. Laura at their first meeting in the university cafe. Laura in the delivery room with newborn Jacob on her chest. Laura yesterday, cold-eyed, clutching their son's passport. I don't want to put her in jail. He surprised himself. I just need to stop her. Morales snorted. Too late for nobility. The judge already signed the warrant. He held up the stamped paper. They're picking her up now. Mark II. The sirens were audible even through the closed windows. Alex looked down. 2 patrol cars were already pulling out of the lot. Somewhere in the city, his ex-wife was sleeping, unaware her life was about to implode. What happens to Jacob? He asked. Child Services will take him till morning. Morales put a hand on his shoulder. You can get him after questioning. Officially. Permanently. Alex checked his phone. One new message from Laura's lawyer. Alex, you won. She agrees to your terms. Full custody, no appeals. Just don't do this. He showed it to Morales. Should I call it off? The captain asked. Alex stared at the frozen screen. Laura kissing Jacob's passport before sealing it in an envelope. He remembered her words. Alex will never find him. No, he said. Let them go. As dawn stay in the sky dirty pink, Alex stood by the window at DCFS intake. Jacob slept on a couch, clutching the same stuffed bear. A social worker filled out paperwork. Mr. Carter, she looked up. You can take your son home. For good. He carefully lifted Jacob. The boy mumbled in his sleep, nuzzling into his neck. Daddy, did we win? Alex glanced outside. Somewhere in the city, the woman he'd once loved was likely being handcuffed. Yeah, champ. We won. He carried Jacob to the car when his phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Alex answered. Hello? It's Mark. The voice was hoarse. They took Laura. Happy now? Alex held Jacob Kiter. "What do you want?" "She left something in our shared safe. Photos. Diaries." Mark paused. "I'll trade them for one thing. You convince the cops to drop the case." The morning was quiet. A bird sang somewhere. Jacob snored softly on his shoulder. "No," Alex said, and hung up. He buckled Jacob into the back seat. Before starting the engine, he pulled the 6th flash drive from his pocket, the one saved for this moment. It held a single video, the very first, filmed by Jacob in the car. Mark's voice played. "Let him record. He doesn't get it yet." Alex tucked the drive into the glove box. Someday, when Jacob was older, he'd show him, so his son would know the truth, the whole truth. For now, he just drove him home. Alex hadn't slept all night. The laptop screen flickered in the dark, casting a pale blue glow on his hollowed face. He already knew what he had to do. Laura's iCloud held more than he expected. Not just love letters to Mark, not just their sleazy photos in the Equinox hotel room. No, there was something far worse. The voice memos. The files had synced automatically. Laura must have forgotten iCloud backed up everything. Alex hit play. "Mark, you have no idea how much he pisses me off. Just sits there all night glued to his stupid show. Doesn't even notice I'm wearing this lingerie." Laura's voice dripped with contempt. But the next file was even worse. That fat cow from the office screwed up the deal again. "I don't know how much longer I can tolerate these idiots. If it weren't for her connections, I'd have kicked her out ages ago." This time, it was Mark. Alex froze. He knew Mark was a lawyer, a partner at a prestigious firm. And judging by the other recordings, this was how he talked not just about Laura, but about his clients too. Among the synced files were PDFs, tax returns with obvious discrepancies, email exchanges where Mark openly discussed how to fleece the suckers for extra fees. Alex smiled slowly. He downloaded everything, connected through Tor, created 3 anonymous Proton Mail accounts. The first folder went to the IRS, let them audit his taxes. The second to the State Bar Association. He made sure to highlight the voice memo where Mark called a judge a corrupt bitch. The third to his film's corporate inbox. Let his colleagues hear what he really thought of them. Alex leaned back in his chair. Dawn was breaking outside. He pictured it. Mark sweating in front of his partners in a few days. Laura fielding panicked calls from her friends. He shut the laptop. The revenge no longer gave him satisfaction, but it was necessary, like a surgeon cutting away rotting flesh. The diary lay on the table like a damning indictment. Alex ran his finger along the worn leather cover. He'd gifted it to Laura for their anniversary years ago. "For recording your happiest memories," he'd said. The irony now felt physically painful. He opened to the last entry. Laura's usually neat handwriting sprawled across the page in jagged, feverish strokes, as if written between ecstasy and panic. June 12. Mark says as Alex finds out, he'll file for custody. But I can't leave him, not now, especially after... The sentence trailed off. Alex turned to the page to find a printed email from Mark's attorney. "Pending confidentiality, my client is prepared to consider..." His chest tightened. They'd been planning this. He'd set the table with deliberate symbolism. Candles, the same ones from their first date in Napa Valley. Wine, Kama's special selection, her favorite. Music, Norah Jones's Come Away With Me, their wedding song. When Laura entered, her eyes immediately locked onto the diary. "What is this?" Her voice trembled. "Dinner." Alex poured the wine. "Our last one. You took Jacob to see Mark last Saturday, to Chuck E. Cheese, while I was in Dallas." Laura's face drained of color. He just happened to..." "The diary says otherwise. Jacob hugged him first, like he knew." Silence. A dog barked somewhere in the distance. "You hacked my iCloud," Laura suddenly accused.
No, darling, you bought us the family plan. He walked to the fireplace. The attorney's letter burned first. Alex, wait! We can still— The IRS already has Mark's tax files. His partners are listening to his voicemails, and tomorrow— The fire roared as it consumed the Equinox photos. Tomorrow, the Bar Association begins reviewing his license. Laura grabbed his arm. You've destroyed us! Alex looked at her, truly looked at her for the first time in months. No, you did that. As the last page turned to ash, he stepped into the backyard. His phone rang exactly 3 minutes later. The screen flashed, Mark. Alex tapped block and threw the iPhone into the pool. 1 year later, Alex stood before the bathroom mirror of his new house, sucking in his stomach as the razor glided over his stubble. Just another morning, except now he shaved to music he actually chose, not Laura's endless podcasts about self-actualization. House? A foreclosure snagged at half price in a decent neighborhood. Job? Went fully remote after his situation became office legend. Jacob? Now on a strict 2 weeks with dad, 2 weeks with mom schedule. He perched on the edge of the tub, examining the scar on his knee, the one from their Miami honeymoon when he'd wiped out on a jet ski with Laura. His phone buzzed. Dad, you forgot my science project! Jacob's voice pierced like an alarm. Damn it. He yanked open the closet. Between tax documents and marker sets sat a solar system diorama. Jupiter was slightly dented, but salvageable. 20 minutes. In the parking lot, he spotted her car, a shiny new Lexus, a gift from Mark. As his lawyer had oh so helpfully disclosed, Laura stared at her phone, never looking up as he passed. Mr. Collins, Jacob says you're a chemist. We need volunteers for— biologist. He corrected, but took the flyer anyway. An official envelope waited at home. State Bar Association logo. Case number 2023-1245. He didn't open it, just tossed it in the drawer with the IRS notice about Mark D's audit. Dad, why do we have 2 houses now? Jacob smeared ketchup across his plate. Because sometimes, he swallowed, adults stop being a team. Like the Avengers after Infinity War? Yeah. He laughed. Just no sequel. At bedtime, Jacob showed him a school drawing, 3 figures, Dad, himself, and an empty space where Mom used to be. Miss Brown said it's not allowed. It is. He pulled him close. We make our own rules now. Late that night, he faced the mirror again. A year ago, his reflection had been shattered. Now, eyes, wrinkles deeper but calmer. Hands, wedding ring gone, replaced by a tattoo, the date of his first solo weekend with Jacob. His phone pinged. Notification, Laura D. updated relationship status to in a relationship. He powered it off. 1 year later, Alex stood before the bathroom mirror of his new house, sucking in his stomach as the razor glided over his stubble. Just another morning, except now he shaved to music he actually chose, not Laura's endless podcasts about self-actualization. House? A foreclosure snagged at half price in a decent neighborhood. Job? Went fully remote after his situation became office legend. Jacob? Now on a strict 2 weeks with dad, 2 weeks with mom schedule. He perched on the edge of the tub, examining the scar on his knee, the one from their Miami honeymoon when he'd wiped out on a jet ski with Laura. His phone buzzed. Dad, you forgot my science project! Jacob's voice pierced like an alarm. Damn it. He yanked open the closet. Between tax documents and marker sets sat a solar system diorama. Jupiter was slightly dented, but salvageable. 20 minutes. In the parking lot, he spotted her car, a shiny new Lexus, a gift from Mark. As his lawyer had oh so helpfully disclosed, Laura stared at her phone, never looking up as he passed. Mr. Collins, Jacob says you're a chemist. We need volunteers for— biologist.
He corrected, but took the flyer anyway. An official envelope waited at home. State Bar Association logo. Case number 2023-1245. He didn't open it, just tossed it in the drawer with the IRS notice about Mark D's audit. Dad, why do we have two houses now? Jacob smeared ketchup across his plate. Because sometimes, he swallowed, adults stop being a team. Like the Avengers after Infinity War? Yeah. He laughed. Just no sequel. At bedtime, Jacob showed him a school drawing, 3 figures, Dad, himself, and an empty space where Mom used to be. Miss Brown said it's not allowed. It is. He pulled him close. We make our own rules now. Late that night, he faced the mirror again. A year ago, his reflection had been shattered. Now, eyes, wrinkles deeper but calmer. Hands, wedding ring gone, replaced by a tattoo, the date of his first solo weekend with Jacob. His phone pinged. Notification, Laura D. updated relationship status to in a relationship. He powered it off. Jacob's school, 18 months later. Alex sat in a parent-sized chair, too small for his broad shoulders, staring at the wall covered in children's artwork. My family, the sign read above the colorful drawings. Among the standard compositions, mom plus dad plus kid plus dog, Jacob's work stood out. A red silhouette, Alex recognized his favorite t-shirt, labeled Dad. A green stick figure, Jacob in his dinosaur pajamas. A purple dot in the corner with Mark scribbled out. Miss Brown adjusted her glasses nervously. Mr. Collins, we encourage children to depict their current family situation. This is current. Alex pulled out his phone. Would you like to cross-reference our custody agreement? Jacob threw his backpack onto the rear seat. She made me redo it again. What did you say? That artists have creative freedom. You taught me that. Alex remembered his son crying a year ago when he saw Laura with Mark at a restaurant. Now, he crossed out Mark's name with the purple crayon. The fridge displayed an evolving collection. September 2023, all 4 of them, including Laura, under a rainbow. March 2024, just him and Jacob plus a stick figure cat. Today's masterpiece, featuring the purple antagonist. Dad, why aren't you mad anymore? Jacob swirled his pasta. I was. For a whole year. He pointed to the drawing. Then I saw this. At 9:03 p.m. sharp, Wednesday ritual, FaceTime rang. Laura looked tired. Jacob, you forgot your... I know, my backpack. He rolled his eyes. Dad, is it under the bed? Alex retrieved the bag but lingered on the screen. Behind Laura, he glimpsed their old living room, now featuring Mark's leather chair in the corner. Thanks, Laura said like the words burned her tongue. Anytime. His eyes flicked to Jacob's drawing. By the way, your husband's a purple dot now. The silence that followed could only be described as post-detonation. Jacob handed him a new drawing before lights out. Red Dad with #1 scrawled over him. Green Jacob, a yellow explosion labeled The Past. Fridge-worthy? Alex stuck it beside court documents and a receipt for their new 3-bedroom apartment. Know who the hero of this story is? He turned off the light. Me! Jacob giggled. Damn right.